talking about the second aspect of technical. Why is that important?
Yeah, it's when you then go to compete in a competition, it's a very technical sport, but yet on the flip side, subjective. So you have these certain movements that you have to do at certain letters, and yet the judge, every human being has a subjective opinion about things. We're all taught in the same system, but it's more of a subjective sport rather than, say, jumping, where they knock a rail and that's it. It's very black and white. In this, it's much more the impression that you give the judge and the harmony between the horse and rider. And like I said, if they really appear to be one entity, that everything flows and looks easy.
And I like that because you can see how, the beauty of a horse doing something. I'm like, it in one aspect, and I hope you show us later, you can see like it looks like the horse is like guiding or even a little bit flying. Right. And I'm like, are all four hoofs off the ground? And that's kind of amazing because that's not easy.
No, it's not easy. It's not easy to accomplish. And of course you have to have a certain breed and a certain type of horse that really succeeds well in the sport. But it's a tough competitive sport because of its subjectivity. But it's also something that is, when it's done correctly, it's just effortless, and it's just one of the most magnificent sports in my opinion. And it also can take an average horse and through exercises, gymnastics exercises, make them better. Make them better than what they were. So the horse's quality always improves, whereas in another sport, the horse's quality may diminish. And you have this good quality in the beginning, but then over time, through use and whatnot, it diminishes. In this sport, it improves and gets to a point where they peak when they're more middle-aged.
Can you name a favorite horse that you've had, even though they're all special in their own ways for you?
Of my own?
Yeah.
Well, Solei is definitely.
Why is that?
Because
I know why, but they don't know why.
She has this elegance about her, yet power. And when you couple the two together, in my eyes, it's absolutely, when she's going well and when she's on, she's one of my favorite horses because of that.
And you can feel it too, can't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, she has this electricity, but yet she's supple. And not that she's a world beater, but that really to me is very special. And I've had her since she had just turned 4, and she's been it's been up and down with her. She's been a little bit tough, and I think every single horse that you have in your life teaches you something about yourself.
Absolutely.
And about your life. And for her, she's just been, they're an open book and very much a reflection of who you are at that time.
With that, we'll end in like 2 minutes because I want to get to Solei. I want to see this, and which will be exciting to see. But isn't it nice to see when a horse is just being born? I mean, I've got 2 that have been born, and I've never thought I'd ever see that, and it's fun to be there, and then see how long, like our colt Gabriel, he's 7 months old now, and it was fun to see him to get up after an hour. He tried to get up like 20 minutes after he was born. I'm like, this is interesting, and that is kind of special to see that. What was it like when you saw one born the first time?
Yeah, it's a great experience. We actually had a breeding farm with 3 stallions, and we used to have 10 to 15 brood mares every year, and
wow.
It's an experience. I used to have so much fun. I don't know if fun's the right word, but sleeping in the barn,
yeah,
hearing the water break, I mean, it's really an incredible experience when it goes right.
Wow.
It's really, really an amazing experience. And then to see them, and that's how I put myself through college. It was just breeding, had 9 foals, start them, get them going under a saddle, and watch them come up, and then find the right partner for them and move on. But it's a really great experience, especially when you know them from day one.
Before we take a break and go up to the barn and to see her horse in the thoroughplate, talk about judging. Are you one of the youngest judges, would you say? And what is that like?
I'm not that young anymore.
No, you're very young. Stop it. What is that like, and how difficult is that to become a judge?
It's difficult, and I have an advantage because my mother's a judge, and she's been a judge for 30 years.
Wow.
So I have that advantage because I grew up in that environment with that dialect and that thought and the philosophy from the judge's perspective. So I'm very, very fortunate that I had that at a young age. So it's just kind of ingrained into me. But it's a process that takes, at least 2 years to even get started. And then once you have your license, you have to be in it for so many years before you can advance and apply for your second license. And I've applied and I've been accepted into the small R program, which is kind of the next step up from the lowest judging level. And now it's going to take me another at least year to then move on and be able to even start judging at a large R and so forth. So it takes a considerable amount of time to move up through the levels. But I think that they're doing a good job of making sure that everyone is educated cohesively.
Oh, I think that's good.
And so while it takes a lot of time, I think that that's beneficial in the end.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Before we leave, because I don't know how much time we have, talk about what is it like when you finally find that horse and you start to go to your show? Because we'll get into how you get on and training and all that stuff in a bit. But what is it like when you're on the road? As Willie Nelson says, on the road again. What is that like when you were driving up to, where were we? Rancho Del Mar? Is that where we were? Rancho Marietta?
Yeah, Rancho Marietta.
Rancho Marietta. What was that like when you were driving up with your horse? What is it like being on the road?
I love it. Personally, I love it. There is nothing more, in one sense, relaxing. It's a little nerve-wracking because you're, driving through the mountains and traveling 11 hours or however long. But to me, I absolutely adore putting my horse in the trailer by myself and going on the road by myself. And it just gives you this time of just relaxing and having fun, and it reminds you why you do the sport in the first place.
Oh, that makes sense.
As opposed to, and I love going with my clients, and it's really fun going with my clients, but it's more work than if you have
Absolutely.
10 horses at a show. I mean, you're just killing yourself. But this way, I just absolutely love that. And everyone here thought, oh my God, you're crazy. You're going to drive all that way by yourself. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Okay, so she drove all that way by herself, and then what happened?
Well, then I got really sick.
I'm not even talking about that yet. You ended up winning. What happened?
I ended up winning. I won the Horse of the Year for the Prix St. George.
Wait a minute, what was that?
Intermediate one.
Your Horse of the what?
Horse of the Year.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
It was a good show. It was a very good show, and I was so sick, and I was so proud of my horse because she carried me through the whole thing. It was very impressive on her part. It shows a lot of growing up on her part, and she really did her job, and I didn't have to ride very much.
And for the record, she didn't look sick to me. and it's funny, she beat my friend Kim Elise, which is interesting. But it was good to see that ride because you got a chance to see a good rider and a good horse, and I thought that was kind of special. And with that, we're going to end right here. We're going to go up to the barn and take a look at the thorough plate, and we're going to look at your horse and maybe one or two. We'll be right back.